Welcome to the Drew and Dan Digress podcast. My name's Drew.
I'm Dan.
Dan, it's episode 16. How does that make you feel?
Lucky number, or sweet 16.
Yeah, sweet 16, exactly. We'll find a significance for every number of
No, we
the
won't.
episodes that we do. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll give up on that before too long. Today's episode is all about these different companies selling to other big companies. The latest of which is Twitch.tv, which, as you are well aware, is a service that lets you live stream gaming from any platform. Has reportedly been sold to YouTube and, by extension, Google for over $1 billion. So get used to seeing the error message, "You must sign up for Google Plus in order to comment on Twitch TV."
Oh, wow. You have no idea. Okay, so I don't want to overload listeners with a lot of gaming mumbo jumbo. We do that a lot.
We do, it's true. Sorry about that.
So I have another format for that called Everything Noob. Check it out. We're doing a podcast over there tonight.
We are. I'll be making a rare appearance on Everything Noob at around 8 o'clock Mountain Time tonight.
Yes. So if you want to check out more of our thoughts on that, but what I will say is, yeah, like Drew said, Twitch TV is where people go to stream video games. And I don't really watch a whole lot because I rather play the games. So instead, I decided to stream them, and I've amassed 2,000 followers or something crazy now, and it's a lot of fun. It's just cool. You kick back, you play some games, no big deal. And it's the chat. The reason people like it is not because of the game itself. It's because you get to interact with the person playing the game in the chat. So I think that's everyone's fear with that kind of purchase. Google buying Twitch, it means Google Plus to chat, and no one wants Google Plus. We didn't want it for YouTube comments, and people as a result don't comment as much on videos. It would kind of ruin the experience, but no one knows anything yet. It's still a rumor. It's a very, 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 very almost confirmed rumor.
Uh-huh.
So likely it's happening.
It's being reported, and everyone's running with it. So
Yeah.
it'll more than likely be a reality before too long. My big question is YouTube going to bring its copyright policy over to Twitch? Because if they do that, I feel like that would basically cause the death of the entire service, because it would cause a lot of their videos and streaming services to get taken down, wouldn't it?
That's my fear. I think that's a lot of people's biggest concern, because YouTube has the worst copyright policies on the net. If you start playing a game on YouTube and you try to monetize that content, which people do on YouTube generally, if the game developer or perhaps anyone else decides, I don't like that, they can claim it for themselves, and then you have to dispute the claim, and by the time that's all said and done, any money you would have made is gone. So it's a big mess. A lot of people who made YouTube their living, especially gamers, even non-gamers, are having a lot of problems with that. So my theory is that Twitch already has the contract set aside for these big game companies, and it shouldn't be a problem. Twitch should basically be unchanged if Google's just using it as another platform to make money, and I bet we'll see a little more integration like Google Plus and stuff like that, but I'm hoping, and we're all hoping, that, and no one can say anything bad yet, that it doesn't change anything.
Right.
Because it's good. It will be good for Twitch. Twitch can continue to grow. We can get more people in there, especially if they go on YouTube and say, hey, people who like gaming videos, check out our live site, Twitch. Because, I mean, like I just said, I have 2,000 followers. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
YouTube has way more people watching it on a regular basis, and the gaming community on YouTube is enormous. So if you can capture that and help out the Twitch streamers, hey, that would be cool. There's a lot of ups and downs to that purchase. But that's the one that affects me the most out of these other ones we have on the list today. But again, there's a lot more to say. I have a bunch of gaming buddies. We'll get together later tonight on Everything Noob, twitch.tv/enoobs if you're interested.
Yeah.
And
come on over and watch us banter about this further. Yeah, I hope that it's more of a hands-off agreement. You know, we own you as a property. We're gonna put all of our resources into you, but you can still do your own thing. You know, keep your staff, keep your operators, moderators, whatever, and use our resources to make Twitch better.
Twitch needs it.
Right.
The biggest complaint people have about current Twitch is, well, for now, the chat. It's other problems too, because video buffering on a live stream is really awful. You find yourself 3 minutes behind on the actual stream, so you're chatting about things that people have long seen because you have a crappy internet connection, and instead of lowering the quality, you just have to buffer. It's like, come on.
Gosh,
So
seriously.
they need the help. They really do. The chat is always broken. A lot of their login features. There's actually a Google plugin called Better Twitch, and you install this plugin, and it improves on Twitch. All the chat problems people have and all those problems, it improves it. Like, why can't you guys do that? some jackass made a plugin to fix it.
Right. To make it better than you seem to be able to make it yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Well, we'll just have to see. I mean, again, it's not fully confirmed yet, but I have a feeling it's an actual thing because Google loves to acquire things like that and just become more and more of a corporate overlord to us all.
People are pretty excited about the new CEO for YouTube, and ever since she's taken the reins, it's been kind of interesting. YouTube's been changing again, but very little. The website changes they've done recently have been very big deals. They've announced them a lot, and people went up in arms because the website completely changed overnight. The changes they're making now are more realistic to what a website should be doing, where they're just changing little bits, and you don't really notice it until one day you look and like, that button wasn't always there, and they're kind of helpful. I mean, I'm always looking for videos to show my friends that I watched and I liked. That's something I do frequently. And I watched that on my account. There's a history button now on the top left. It's always been there, but it's been hidden, and now it's just sitting there. That's a nice change. I mean, and ever since she took over, there's been little changes I've noticed that have been actually kind of good. It's the first time YouTube changes have been favorable, in my opinion. So
Right.
this could be a good thing. You never know.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I agree with you on the format changes, the frequent format changes to the way YouTube is laid out, and how for the most part it's been pretty terrible. But yeah, recently they've kind of gotten back on track with that. So I'm sure this new CEO is to thank for that. But moving on, again, we'll talk about more in-depth analysis on this whole Twitch YouTube thing tonight on Everything Noob, which is a podcast we talk about a lot. So this is your chance to actually watch it, which is a lot of fun. It's an all gaming hour-long podcast with a couple other co-hosts, and it's pretty awesome. Got me my start in podcasting, so thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
The next big business deal on the horizon, AT&T is going to buy DirecTV for $48.5 billion.
Billion or million?
$1 billion is what I'm seeing. Hold on. Maybe that's nope, $48.5 billion.
Wow.
Yep, I'm going down the Google search results, and yep, $48.5 billion. It sounds like a Dr. Evil like number. $1 billion. Yeah, and it's just their effort to try and expand a little bit. And if you ask me, it's their effort to just kind of stay afloat in a very competitive market, because no one's really ever liked AT&T's mobile quality, their call quality, things like that. And they've been running a huge campaign in advertising to show that they're trying to improve that. With those two nerds like working on the network everywhere and stuff. Those are kind of funny, to be honest. But this is the latest move, if you ask me, in their efforts to just stay at the forefront, kinda. You do have sort of a Verizon partnership with Xfinity, and you have this DirecTV partnership right now with CenturyLink. These companies offering bundles because one company doesn't have the service that the other offers. So I think this is AT&T saying, hey, we can provide everything for you under one roof, and it's only going to cost us $48.5 billion to do it.
That is so ridiculous.
I don't know. I've been debating recently about which provider I should go with, because my wife and I are moving here in about a month, and I've been sold on DirecTV for like the past year, because when we moved last year they had such better deals than Xfinity, but now I'm looking and they're not that great. So will this purchase by AT&T in the long term equal better prices for the customers, or do you think they're just, because there's so much less competition now, that it's just they're gonna be able to charge whatever they want and just screw us all over?
That's the way things are going. I mean, just look around. There's so many big companies, and now we have big companies being engulfed by bigger companies, and what we're seeing now is there are not a lot of options anymore. That's the problem. So we could get to that point where there's two companies competing against each other, and they just keep changing their rates to compete against each other. But in the long run, since there's only two, they can charge whatever they want.
I don't
So
know.
it's kind of scary to see that, and that's just going to keep happening around with no matter what company we're talking about, whether it be television or grocery store or whatever. This is happening just all around the country. So, I mean, that's a whole other issue.
Right.
I just think that DirecTV has for me, I've never used it. It's all Dish Network's always beaten it because I'm not a sports guy. My family's never been sports people, and they have the best sport packages. So for us, it was always like, well, if we were watching sports, that package would be really cool to us, but it's not. We don't watch a lot of sports, and everything else kind of pales in comparison to Dish Network's prices because they don't offer as much sports. So at least the packages aren't as affordable. I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, this one doesn't affect me too much, so I can't say either way on it. But I know a lot of people use DirecTV, and I know AT&T has been trying to get more into the media business aside from just phones. They're offering internet, and
Right. Yeah.
what's funny is I know they're doing fiber optic stuff, but all I can imagine is like using 4G LTE but on your computer instead. And so I just envision the cost really high. I know it's not like that, but you know what I mean? Like, okay, so I have to use internet is it going to be the cell phone network or is it going to be an actual internet provider?
That's a good question. It's like we have high-speed internet, but you have to use broadband.
Oh,
What
brother.
kind of thing? Yeah, like that would be an interesting way to go, especially if they have DirecTV. It's like completely wireless entertainment. You've got a satellite signal coming into your house, and then you've got just broadband all around you. I mean, and that's really marketable, especially if you have high-speed broadband at at least somewhat affordable price. Hey, bundle DirecTV or whatever they decide to call it with our wireless broadband and never have to hook up any other wires again. That could possibly be a thing. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm, casting a prophecy on this or anything, but I could kind of see it happening.
Bundles are a big deal. I mean, so I'm moving to North Carolina soon, and the internet, TV, and phone provider we're looking into bundles Dish Network with an internet and phone service. So we'll have a landline, we'll have internet, and we'll have TV all bundled together. And it doesn't mean that this company owns Dish Network or vice versa. It just means they partnered. And people
Right.
like that. It's one service you're paying for rather than three. And in turn, they can also charge less overall because they've bundled it together.
Right.
So that's not a bad idea to have one company offering all these things. But then again, we're talking one of those phone companies that, at least here, when I tell someone I'm using AT&T, they cringe. They just think it's the worst, and I've never had that much of a problem with them, not cringeworthy problem. And then DirecTV, again, I actually see more people using Direct than Dish, but then again, Comcast usually beats out everything out here. It's different depending on the area. So I
Right,
don't know. Maybe
exactly.
some areas will benefit more than others. I'm just tired of seeing companies buying each other. I don't know if they're selling out or they actually need the funds.
I don't know. I just hope that we don't get a sort of monopoly kind of situation. And I know that everything kind of has to go through the government so that they can decide whether or not something creates too much of a monopoly on product offerings and things like that. But it just really feels to me like it is. It feels to me like I really only have three choices right now, and three choices is good in terms of my television service. But a lot of places here in town just will not allow you to have anything but one or the other. There's an apartment complex right up the street that I've looked at that specifically will only allow you to have DirecTV. And I've lived in other places that will only allow you to have Comcast. Haven't seen any Dish Network places like that, but even here it was impossible for me to have anything satellite based because I don't have anywhere to put it. The satellite, it can't get a signal, and so it's just like, well, then my only choice is Xfinity. Maybe I'm just nitpicking and just being super particular about it, but I just wish that I had sort of other options, and
You could
and
go
now
full
there's
internet.
what's that?
You could go full internet. Sorry to interrupt.
I could go full internet.
That's always an option.
I know, and I've thought about it. It's just kind of a matter of just really getting on board with that. Like my wife and I like to watch a lot of TV and just be able to turn on the TV and not have to go through Netflix or any other or Hulu or any on-demand service. And I know it's kind of the same thing as channel surfing. You just surf through Netflix to find something to watch, but we like to get, the new shows, and we like to get things right when they air. And we've talked about this before, how I just I don't know if I necessarily have the patience right now to go full internet, but it's definitely appealing. I know tons of people that do, and it makes me cringe with jealousy how there's yeah, we've got our high-speed internet, and that's maybe 50 or 60 bucks a month, and then all of our television needs are met with Hulu and Netflix, and they'll have like 3 or 4 services, and they're like, yeah, it's like comes out to $20 a month. And I just hate them so much in that moment. Like, man, wouldn't that be nice? And then I come look at my Comcast bill, and I'm like, damn you, HBO.
It's scary, though, like all these things that we want, and now we're getting to a point where they're not something that, it's not a luxury anymore. It's one of those things that people kind of feel like they need. You don't physically need it, I know that, but who doesn't have some sort of TV and internet connection? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going through a company like AT&T, who is all about cell phones and squeezing every dime they can out of people who get a cell phone, that scares me, because that's their business practice. And we know that, I'm sure you and I know from experience, when a company sets its ways in a business practice, it doesn't matter what they get into, those practices carry with them. So, maybe with the practices of DirecTV with AT&T won't be so bad, but I'm envisioning what I just went through with my cell phone. Buying a new cell phone plan and learning that, you can have this cheap cell phone plan, but as soon as you upgrade it, it's going to cost you a fortune. Like, whoa, why? Like, this is the way we do it now. It's so much better, right? Right? Like, not really.
No contract, but we'll still find a way to rope you in one way or another.
We'll get you.
Yeah, man.
I'm outsmarted them, but
right. Yeah, you tell me about that. No, the plan that I have is the same way. Oh, no contract, but we'll just finance your phone, the phone that you want, out over 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can cancel any time, but once you do cancel, you'll owe whatever is left on the phone right away. So that's kind of your cancellation fee right there. If you've only been paying for this phone for 6 months, you'll have to pay another year and a half out of pocket up front just to cancel your service.
That was one of my options, and they told me you can do that. And if you want an upgrade, you have to give the phone back. So when you're done paying for it, the full retail price, not $200, $650 in this case, you have to give the phone back. And then you can upgrade.
I know, and you see that a lot. It's like, we'll let you upgrade after 6 months, and we'll just put the payments towards from your old phone towards the new one. But if you're getting a new one, it's probably going to cost more than your old one. So you're actually going to be less than 6 months into paying that new one off, because it didn't add up to enough to cover the first 6 months of the new one. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a racket. It's like, man, they are kind of all the same. I complain about not having a choice, but they all pretty much do the same thing and offer the same thing. So I don't know what I'm complaining so much about.
Cell phone companies are scumbags, and they're going to continue to be as long as we let them. Which is why I fully took advantage of my cheaper plan, and now I'm not going to upgrade through them, because I don't need their upgrade. I'll pay a little more for my phone. I get to keep it. I can sell my old phone for a whole bunch of money. And because I got this at $200, and I can get more than that now because people are trying to do what I'm doing.
Right,
and
exactly.
They're willing to pay $100 more if it means they're not paying full retail, but they get to keep the phone and upgrade any time.
Right.
So it's crazy. Like, a cell phone company partnering with a television company is scary, and it's another step for me in that internet fully push. That's how I feel. As much as I don't like signing up for all these services like we talked about not long ago, where do you draw the line, man?
Yep, we're kind of stuck. It's sort of a rock and a hard place sort of situation. And these cable providers are even saying you can watch live TV on the go, which uses an internet connection or a broadband connection. So where exactly the line is the line? It's getting very, very blurred. Like, at what point are you just relying completely on your internet connection, and at what point can we just stream regular broadcast feeds over the internet all the time? Because obviously they're already doing that part of the time, or you wouldn't be able to watch your favorite Xfinity shows in real time on your tablet on the go. You know, like I don't know. Watch live TV on your mobile device. Okay, so it's got to be streaming live TV. So is it like screen cap? I mean, how does that? I don't even know how that works. Maybe I'll find out when I move, because if I do stay with Xfinity, they're going to include the X1 operating system. So we'll see. I'll have to
That,
let you know.
man, I love the internet because it offers a lot more options, but man, things are a mess right now.
I know.
We'll have
We're
to
in this
see.
weird, yeah, this weird kind of middle ground growing pain area where no one quite knows the best formula and everyone's experimenting with all these different things, and it's like, man, can we just all settle down and be very clear and concise about what we offer and just help average Joe consumer like myself make a good decision? Apparently not. Apparently that's just too much to ask for.
Well, the other partnership is makes a little more sense to me that
Yeah.
you have on the list here.
Mm-hmm.
AT&T, not AT&T, damn it, Apple
Right.
is buying Beats Audio.
Is that confirmed or is that just a rumor?
That could be another one of those like pretty much confirmed rumors.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I mean, Beats by Dr. Dre, the brand, is worth $3.2 billion right now, according to Forbes. And according to Forbes, rumors are circulating at the time that we're recording this.
Hmm.
Rumors are circulating that they're going to be buying Beats Audio. I don't know how I feel about that because I mean, I would hope that if they did acquire Beats Audio, they would improve it a lot. Because I haven't bought a single pair of Beats headphones because every review I read everywhere says you're paying top dollar for mediocrity. You're paying top dollar for a name.
Yes.
And there are so many cheaper headphones out there that work so much better. And I see
Oh,
so many
no.
people buying them, and I'm just like, really, you're going to have that level of brand loyalty when everybody is telling you, in every direction that they're kind of terrible? So,
It's like Alienware computers. You're paying for the cool looking alien
yeah,
stuff, but
yeah,
other than that garbage, they're just a Dell with a cool paint job.
right, exactly. They've got a fun-looking logo and green lights on the inside or whatever, and people just think they're awesome. I was totally sold on Alienware for a long time. I'd see the ads for them and stuff, and be like, "Whoa, cool!" I
Yeah,
was
they
like, "Wait
try
a
to
second."
offer it like it's a whole different operating system, but it's not. It's just
No.
an operating system with a paint. It's all just a big paint job that you're paying all this money for. Again, top dollar for mediocrity. Beats headphones. Every time I tried them on in like Best Buy, they always have their headphones sitting there, and so I try on the disgusting headphones that everyone's tried on because I'm gross. I make good decisions. I put them on my ears, and they don't sound cancel at all. The audio is halfway decent, and I'm like, okay, so these are made of plastic, and they feel kind of flimsy. And then next to them are Bose, and Bose, I put those on. It was like wearing a cloud on my head, and it canceled out all the audio in this busy store full of people, especially at the holidays. You're shopping at the holidays. You try these on, and there's shoppers, and all of a sudden, whoa, like,
Yeah.
la, 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 as
It
soon as you
all
put them
just
on,
peels away, and you're just
and
left so serene and peaceful in the middle of this crazy store.
I know if you're gonna pay that much money, you might as well jump to that next bracket and get headphones that are actually good and are going to last you.
Right. So that's the question is if this does turn out to be true, is Apple just going to buy the name, just buy the brand and start from scratch? Because Apple, loves to do that. Is, take the good that a lot of other people are doing and build their own product based on those good ideas and kind of trim out the bad ideas. So that would be my hope. That would be the only way I'd even consider buying them is if they really completely rebooted and redesigned everything.
Well, they'd be more expensive for sure,
Oh
but
yeah, because it's Apple.
they'd be more quality. I mean, Apple, say what you want about them, but they make quality products. I
Oh
don't
yeah, for
think
sure.
I don't think it's worth my money to buy a $2,000 laptop, especially one that's not even suited for gaming. Apple just isn't for gaming for the most part. Someone like me, I need my gaming PC. If I'm buying an Apple computer for gaming, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble buying AAA games.
Yeah.
So, because they
Yeah.
usually come out much later, and it's just a big fiasco.
I know.
But it's a quality computer. And
Yeah.
if you get a lot of Apple stuff, the coolest thing about it is it syncs together, whether you like it or not. And everything, if you get Apple everything, your life feels a lot easier. Not worth
I know.
$2,000 to me.
Yeah, I mean, if I got a new job and they came in and told me, all right, well, we're going to give you a brand new computer, we're revamping the whole department or whatever. Would you rather have a brand new PC or a brand new Mac? Especially for work, I would choose the Mac, like hands down. Especially when it would comes to like audio and video editing and things like that.
Yes.
I'd choose the Mac in a heartbeat. But like you said, and I'm not even a huge PC gamer, but the fact that I wouldn't have the library to choose from would be really upsetting to me in terms of gaming. And I know that there's Steam for Mac, and I know that these Macs do have Intel chips, so I guess you could have a Windows install that would run things.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a huge hassle, and you don't want to pay for a separate operating system when you already have one. That's just kind of frustrating, like
It's easier to spend the money and not dual boot at that point.
Right. Yeah, just get a different computer at that point because you're just kind of creating more work for yourself. Yeah, but I mean, I went through going through college. I'd say about half of my time in computer labs was spent on Macs, and I just love them. It's especially for work. So I really, I know that Apple makes good stuff, and if I were to jump on the Apple bandwagon, yeah, everything would be Apple stuff. I'd have, an iPhone and an iPad and just all that stuff because it syncs together so easily. But it's just like right now how we're streaming this live on Google Plus because it goes straight to YouTube as we're doing it and then records to YouTube and posts later. And so everything, is the same in that regard, how Google has everything tied together, so it's shareable everywhere and transferable to all these other sites that Google owns. So going back, way back real quick to the whole Twitch thing, that could be good. That could be good to be able to stream your content and access your content on Twitch and on YouTube, which is such a big video site.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it could be a good thing.
That's another point that I was talking to someone else about earlier. There's a potential now to where, because right now YouTube released streaming a while back. You could stream from YouTube, your YouTube channel, and they were testing it for a while, and you can get in on the beta program if you met the requirements and so on and so forth. It's now, I'm pretty sure, released. We're definitely streaming on YouTube right now, but I'm saying in terms of hooking up your gaming stuff to it, which is a completely different process than using Google+. I think you can do that, but there's no chat. And like I said earlier, people watch because they want to interact. But instead of chat, it's like YouTube comments, except they're coming in live. And there's no way to separate the YouTube comments from like the video you're streaming like you can on Twitch. Because on Twitch, I don't keep my channel opened. I just keep the chat opened and put it on my other screen. You can pop out the chat. And that way you're not streaming video and streaming video. You know what I mean? You're not uploading and downloading video at the same time. You're just uploading.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really important, especially when your internet's going to throttle you when you're trying to stream. So YouTube streaming has never been good, is what I'm trying to say. No one's ever used it. But now with a Twitch integration, maybe we can post a live update to YouTube, which was one of my buddy's idea. You could post a live update to YouTube the minute you go, and so people who subscribe to you, instead of seeing a video in your timeline, will see that you're live right now. Which is what I kind of do that sometimes. I'll post a YouTube video on my channel. Hey guys, I'm live, so those people can see I'm live, and then I got to delete the video later when I go offline.
Yeah, so maybe you could just take some of that extra legwork out of it. Just automatically. For all we know, there could be a button that just says "Post update to YouTube," and you could just have a little clip of your live stream, and you just say, "Hey, I'm live. Come, click the link in the description." Boom, done. So who knows? But on that note, time to end for this week. But again, please join us for Everything Noob tonight because we're going to talk a lot more about this whole Twitch thing. And there will be 4 of us instead of 2 of us. So there will be
5.
A lot. 5 of us. That's right. I was just going to say. I think there's actually 5 because you found someone to replace me. To replace my occasional appearances. Yeah, and his name's Drew. Great. Perfect. This isn't going to be confusing at all. So join us for the confusion and the hilarity as we talk more about Twitch and possibly being acquired by YouTube and Google. And we hope to see you there. But we really appreciate you watching us here. In the meantime, DrewandDanDigress.com is where you can find everything related to us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Or subscribe on YouTube to our live streams like this. And you can also just subscribe on iTunes for our RSS feed, which has a lot higher quality audio because we do a lot of fancy recording and editing. That's not just this sort of live video thing that we're doing right now. And in any case, we just really appreciate you watching and listening to us. My name's Drew.
I'm Dan.
Thanks for listening and or watching to Drew and Dan Digress.